Hey there, welcome back to Summary in 15 Minutes. I'm thrilled you're joining me today for an exciting dive into a book that's all about understanding and taking charge of your emotions. We're talking about Master Your Emotions by Thibaut Meurisse, a guide that's packed with insights to help you navigate the ups and downs of your feelings. Emotions are a huge part of our lives, aren't they? One minute you're laughing with friends, the next you're stressed about a deadline or feeling blue for no clear reason. Those feelings don't just sit in your head, they shape how you act, think, and live. So, grab a comfy seat, maybe a snack, and let's spend the next 15 minutes unpacking why your emotions matter, how you can master them, and, most importantly, how to use them to create a happier, more fulfilling life. Ready? Let's jump in. Let's start with the big picture. Why are emotions so powerful? Think about your day. Maybe you felt a burst of joy when you got a compliment, or frustration when your Wi-Fi crashed during a meeting. Those emotions aren't random. They're part of an ancient survival system wired into your brain. Way back when our ancestors were roaming the plains, emotions were like their personal GPS. Fear told them to run from danger, anger helped them stand their ground, and sadness signaled a loss that needed attention. That system, called the negativity bias, made sure they paid extra attention to threats. If a tiger was nearby, forgetting about it wasn't an option. Fast forward to 2025, and that same system is still running the show, even though we're not dodging predators anymore. When your boss snaps at you or a friend cancels plans, your brain reacts like it's a life-or-death crisis. That's why a bad day can feel so heavy. It's your negativity bias zooming in on the negative and ignoring the positive. For example, you might obsess over one rude comment online but barely notice 10 kind ones. Sound familiar? Here's the good news. You can outsmart this bias. It takes effort, but small habits can make a big difference. Try this. At the end of each day, write down 3 things that went well. Maybe you finished a task, had a great chat with a friend, or just enjoyed a sunny walk. It sounds simple, but it trains your brain to notice the good stuff. I started doing this a few months ago, and it's like putting on glasses that make the world look brighter. Another trick? When something negative happens, like spilling coffee on your shirt, pause and ask, will this matter in a week? Spoiler, it usually won't. These habits help you take control and keep negativity from running the show. Now, let's talk about happiness. Who doesn't want to feel happy, right? Your brain has a chemical called dopamine that's like a happiness spark. It fires up when you eat a delicious meal, get a like on your post, or buy something new. That rush feels amazing. But here's the catch. It doesn't last. Ever bought a new gadget, like the latest phone, and felt like you were on cloud 9? A week later, it's just your phone. That's called hedonic adaptation. Your brain gets used to the new thing, and the thrill fades. This is where things get really interesting. Research, like studies from happiness expert Sonja Lyubomirsky, shows that only 10% of your happiness comes from external stuff, like money, possessions, or even big wins like a promotion. A whopping 50% is tied to your genetics. Some people are just naturally cheerier, and 40% comes from your mindset and habits. That's huge. It means you have a ton of control over how happy you feel, no matter what's going on around you. Let me tell you about my friend Liam. He used to think happiness was all about stuff. New sneakers, a fancy watch, you name it. He'd save up, buy something, and feel great for about a week. Then he'd be chasing the next thing. Sound exhausting? It was. Then he tried something different. Every morning, he'd write down 3 things he was grateful for, like a good cup of coffee, a funny meme, or a kind coworker. Over time, he noticed he didn't need new stuff to feel good. His happiness came from appreciating what he already had. You can do this too. Start small. Maybe jot down 1 thing each day that made you smile. It's like planting seeds for a happier you. Okay, let's get into the nitty-gritty. How do you handle those tricky negative emotions? We've all been there. Angry after an argument, sad after a letdown, or just plain stressed. Telling yourself to snap out of it doesn't work, does it? Instead, think of emotions like waves in the ocean. They roll in, they peak, and then they roll out. The trick is to observe them without getting swept away. Here's a story to make this real. My cousin Mia had a rough morning last week. She overslept, spilled her smoothie, and missed an important call. She was fuming. Normally, she'd stew all day, but she tried something new. Emotional detachment. She took a deep breath and said to herself, "I'm feeling super annoyed right now, and that's okay. This won't last forever." It didn't magically fix her day, but it stopped her from spiraling. By lunch, she was laughing about it. That's the power of stepping back and watching your emotions instead of letting them take over. Another great tool? Label your emotions. Instead of saying, "I'm a wreck," try, "I'm feeling overwhelmed." It's a small shift, but it creates distance between you and the feeling. You're not your emotions, you're just experiencing them. Try writing down what triggered the emotion too. Maybe you got upset because a friend didn't text back. Jotting it down helps you spot patterns. For example, I noticed I get cranky when I'm hungry. Hangry is real, folks. So now I keep a snack handy, and it's like a mood reset button. These little strategies make negative emotions way less scary. Speaking of scary, let's talk about why bottling up emotions is a bad idea. When you stuff down anger, sadness, or stress, it doesn't disappear. It festers. And it's not just in your head. Ever felt your heart pound when you're mad or your stomach churn when you're nervous? That's your body reacting to those trapped emotions. Holding them in is like shaking a soda can. One day it's going to burst and it won't be pretty. Instead, try the Sedona Method, a super simple way to let go of emotions. Here's how it works in 5 steps. Step 1. Pick an emotion, like irritation. Step 2. Ask yourself, "Can I let this feeling go?" Or, "Can I just let it be here?" Step 3. Ask, "Will I let it go?" Step 4. Ask, "When?" The answer is always, now. Step 5. Keep repeating until the emotion starts to fade. I know it sounds too easy, but I tried this when I was stressed about a family argument. After a few rounds, I felt like a weight lifted off my chest. Let's make this practical with an example. Imagine you're Sam, and your coworker just threw you under the bus in a meeting. You're livid. Instead of fuming, you find a quiet spot and try the Sedona Method. You focus on that anger and ask, "Can I let this go?" At first you're like, "Heck no." But as you keep asking, the anger starts to loosen. By the end, you're calm enough to talk to your coworker without blowing up. That's you taking back control. Now, let's flip the script and see how emotions can guide you. Negative emotions aren't just there to ruin your day. They're like road signs, pointing you toward what needs to change. Take my friend Ava. She was miserable in her office job, always stressed and snappy. Those feelings were her brain shouting, "This isn't working." So she took a bold step. She quit, went back to school, and now she's training to be a therapist. She's never been happier. If she'd ignored those emotions, she'd still be stuck. This is where self-awareness becomes your superpower. It's about noticing your thoughts and feelings without judging them. A great way to practice is with the above-the-line or below-the-line framework from the 15 Commitments of Conscious Leadership. When you're above the line, you're curious, open, and owning your actions. You're in a positive headspace. Maybe you're listening to a friend or appreciating a small win. Below the line? That's when you're blaming others, gossiping, or stuck in a negative loop. Try this. Next time you're upset, pause and ask, "Am I above or below the line right now?" If you're below, don't stress, just notice it and try to shift. Maybe take a deep breath, go for a quick walk, or think of something you're grateful for. I do this when I'm annoyed with someone, and it helps me respond calmly instead of saying something I'll regret. It's like giving your brain a quick tune-up. One of the best ways to stay in tune with your emotions is to track them. Grab a notebook, a notes app, or even a scrap of paper and spend a week jotting down how you feel each day. Rate your mood from 1 to 10. 1 is total disaster. 10 is living the dream. At the end of the week, look back and answer these questions. What negative emotions did I feel? What triggered them? How did I handle them? What can I do differently next time? When I started tracking my emotions, I noticed I got super irritable when I didn't sleep enough. Obvious now, but I hadn't connected the dots before. So I made a point to get at least 7 hours of sleep, and my mood improved big time. Tracking also showed me that I felt happiest when I spent time with friends, so I started scheduling more hangouts. It's like having a map of your emotional world. You can see where you're at and where you want to go. Let's zoom out and talk about how to change the way you think about life's challenges. So much of how we feel comes from how we interpret what happens to us. Let's say you hear a rumor you might lose your job. Your first thought might be, "This is a disaster." But what if you reframed it? Maybe it's a chance to find a job you love, or take societal pressure, like, "You should be married by 30. Who says? If that's not your goal, let it go. Happiness comes from living your truth, not someone else's. Here's an example. My neighbor Tom was freaking out about turning 40 and not having kids yet. Everyone kept saying, "Time's running out." But he took a step back and thought, "Do I even want kids right now?" Turns out he didn't. He wanted to travel and build his business. So he let go of that pressure and felt free. When you stop letting external expectations define you, it's like shedding a heavy backpack. All right, let's tie this all together with the key takeaways from Master Your Emotions. First, your brain's negativity bias is real, but you can fight it with habits like gratitude and reframing negative thoughts. Second, emotions are temporary. Good or bad, they pass. Hold on to that when things feel heavy. Third, how you interpret life's events shapes your happiness. Let go of assumptions that don't serve you, like, "I need X to be happy." Fourth, don't bottle up your emotions. Use tools like the Sedona Method to release them and feel lighter. Fifth, self-awareness is your secret weapon. Listen to what your emotions are telling you. They might point you toward a big change. Sixth, track your emotions to spot patterns and build habits that keep you happy. And finally, remember, your emotions don't define you. They're like visitors. Some bring joy, some bring lessons, but none get to stay forever. Wow, we covered so much today, didn't we? I hope this summary of Master Your Emotions has given you practical tools to take charge of your feelings and build a happier life. If you found this video helpful, please smash that like button. It really helps the channel grow. Drop a comment below and tell me, what's one emotion you want to master, and how are you going to start? I read every single comment, and I can't wait to hear from you. Don't forget to subscribe to Summary in 15 Minutes, and hit that bell icon so you never miss a video. We've got more book summaries coming your way to help you learn, grow, and live your best life. Until next time, keep working on those emotions, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care and stay awesome.